Welcome back to Texas in Focus. My guests on the program today are Marina and Biliana Grozdanova, the directors and writers of Eastern Western, an independent film that will be shown at the Dallas International Film Festival, which starts on April 25th. Marina, Biliana, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having us,
Thanks
Matthew.
so
We're
much,
excited.
Matthew.
Absolutely. So let's start with this, just the basic question. Tell us about y'all's journey in the world of filmmaking. I mean, I could see from y'all's bio that y'all are originally from Bulgaria, have moved all over the world, currently have your own filmmaking company. So tell us about the journey.
Sure. Well, so yeah, as you said, we're from Bulgaria. We moved when we were very young around the world with our parents, and we've been living kind of across the globe. We went to Australia, Canada, the US, Spain. So we've really developed just a different type of eye, I suppose, into looking at cultures, people, storytelling. And our father was a photographer, and he always had a photo camera on him, and we also had video cameras with us, throughout our travels just to document family journeys. But that eventually kind of inspired in us a love for the visual medium of cinema. Billy, she studied cinema in undergraduate school in Spain. I studied cinema in graduate school in Canada, and then we just decided to join forces and make cinema into our profession.
Well said.
Absolutely. Well, let's follow up on that. Let's talk about your profession. What is the day-to-day life of an independent filmmaker like? Because I mean, I know y'all directed Eastern Western, y'all wrote Eastern Western, but in addition to that, I mean, y'all sent the email that I replied to set up this interview. So y'all are kind of doing everything. So just tell us about a day in the life.
That's a great question, Matthew, and it's very good to recognize that the life of the independent filmmaker is you can't separate. There is no distinction between, it's not a 9 to 5. There's no personal life, there's no professional life. It's all one. And we always like to say that cinema is our way of life. We do this is our first narrative film. We come from a documentary background that was, very DIY. We then transitioned into narrative, and we do how to say we work in advertising, television, different ways, different mediums to pay the bills, and we are also filmmakers that do our own PR, do our own press. It's a very involved way of life, and the day to day is emails, emails, emails. That's
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. We all have day jobs, or we do all kinds of things on the side, with the filmmaking also being kind of the side business, side project, obviously hoping to make it into the main income stream down the line. And speaking of income stream, independent filmmaking is not something that makes you money when you start out. We put in a lot of our own funds into this film. Obviously, we got some other investors and also state funding from Montana. So the day to day is really just kind of emails, and also trying to make your, how shall I say, budgetary means work for all of that.
yeah.
Absolutely. Let's follow up on that. Let's I wanted to ask you. That was about the day-to-day kind of being in the business, but what's it like to, actually make a movie? I mean, you make this thing, you move from Bosnia to Montana, shoot a movie, then you go from festival to festival and, see it displayed in front of audiences. What's that feeling like?
We're really happy that the film is being received so well around the festival circuit. We're calling this Dallas is the last stop of our spring tour. We're in Florida right now. We were in North Carolina before that. And leading up to the film, just to mention the back to the day to day, we did basically all of our production design, all of our casting, all of our locations. I mean, everything was very much in our hands. So it's very exciting when you get to put your touch on every department, but also very stressful. And then, the filming was wonderful. We shot it across 3 different seasons, winter, summer, and fall, and we actually moved backwards. We shot in Montana first, winter and summer. And then Bosnia, without giving too much away, is kind of the last chapter and this return home that we knew we wanted to showcase in our film. So we also produced that shoot ourselves, and it was an adventure. Filmmaking is an adventure to us. I don't know if you want to add anything to that.
Yeah, just about the festival circuit that
Yes.
you mentioned, Matthew. Yeah, it's just been wonderful to see the audience reception. You know, you're so enclosed in a filmmaking team and with your characters. Like our core team is only four people or five at a singular time, plus with our, characters and extras, maybe like 20 at most for certain shoot days. But yeah, then you get into the editing room and you're just three people. So when it comes time to really interact with audiences, it's the best because you get to see the life of your movie outside of your eyes, and that's wonderful. We
Mhm.
we love that experience to get to talk to people.
So without giving too much away to the audiences that might be in Dallas next weekend, tell us about Eastern Western. Tell us about the movie.
Eastern Western is an adventure film. It's a film about family, it's a film about home, and ultimately it's the story of an Eastern European immigrant who goes out in the American frontier of the 1880s and is struggling to raise his son. He meets a new acquaintance, Duncan, who is a cowboy and rancher out in Montana, and they bind forces and journey west together in search of greater opportunity. And they have a lot of experiences on the way that you should come and see in the movie theater.
Was there anything in particular that drew y'all to the Western? I know a lot of filmmakers, especially the great filmmakers, like to try their hand at Westerns. So anything about that genre that drew y'all to it?
Yeah, we grew up watching a lot of, 90s films, 90s westerns, obviously the earlier ones as well, but definitely the 90s ones. And I think we wanted to put our touch on it because we do love this genre. We also grew up in Western Canada in Alberta, which is just north of Montana. And so kind of the mountainous landscapes, the wild, just open prairies and fields. We've lived with that. And so when it came time to do a first narrative, we thought that would be the perfect kind of landscape, also imaginary space. The West holds within American culture such a vast meaning. And we knew that we could put into that space kind of our touch of, female filmmakers, immigrant filmmakers, just the different aspects of identity which we wanted to tell about American society, American culture, and also the Western hasn't really portrayed the immigrant experience, at least in this way. So we kind of knew that the Western would fit all of that.
It's a great playground for the story that we wanted to tell. And, the Western is a founding genre of cinema. They were kind of born together, and it coincides with the decades that we are placing our film in, the very late 1800s. So, yeah, I mean, we definitely wanted to try our hand at it. And we went big with our first narrative, and hopefully, that comes across.
Logistically, what's it like shooting an independent film that takes place in two different countries? I mean, is there when you're in Bosnia, is there a pressure to be like, hey, don't mess this up? I don't know when we're gonna be back here. What's that like?
100%. I mean, our film, our way of filmmaking is a little risky because there is a lot of improv that goes on in our dialogues, our way of shooting. Our Montana, we had a lot more time than in Bosnia. In Bosnia, we had that was a week's shoot. It was actually our closing chapter, the last shoot that we did, and it was very structured as far as we knew what locations we were hitting every day. And that's very much how we go about this way of filmmaking. We know exactly where we need to be and who needs to be there. And then day of, we kind of let the scenes and the moments unfold. But Bosnia was a very rigorous 5 day shoot. And it was very exciting. Not to give too much away, we had to chase wild horses up a mountain. We had to film in old Austro-Hungarian mills that we were hoping were going to work, and they did. So yeah.
Well, I'm really excited to go see it. As we wrap this up, this is Texas in focus, so I feel like I have to ask at least one Texas related question. Any connection to the area? Have y'all done festivals here before? Anything y'all are looking forward to seeing when y'all are here next week?
Yes, I have to shout out our director of photography, Cameron Wheelis. He is from Austin, and that will all we will always have a Texas connection through him. And he is also my fiance. And we work together on pretty much everything. And also want to shout out Talent Entertainment. They are our producers. They are originally from Florida, but they're also behind the new Southside studios in Dallas. So we hope that they can make it out to the festival. And we did have our Texas premiere at the Round Top Film Festival in the fall. And we had a wonderful audience reception there. So there's a lot of bridges that sisters have with Texas.
Definitely. There's a little shout out to Texas in the movie. One of the characters kind of comes from there or has lived there. So when it's heard, I think it'll resonate as well.
Absolutely. And I'll close with this one. This is my third year where I've interviewed people that were at the Dallas International Film Festival. And every year I close with the same question. What's your favorite movie? Recommendation for
Well,
the audience.
Oh,
Yeah.
um,
oh yeah, that's a good one.
that's a good one. While you think about yours, I also want to add a huge thank you to the Dallas International Film Festival team for inviting us, for having us. It's the reputation of the festival precedes itself, and we're so happy to be having our Dallas premiere at Dallas International. And my favorite movie, it has to be the very first Western and perhaps the very first movie that I remember seeing, Dances with Wolves, Kevin Costner.
Yeah,
That's
that's a good one. I guess I'll say like in the spirit of adventure films, Apocalypse Now. I mean, that's just, you can't go wrong with watching that on a Sunday or something and just being inspired to like go out there and do your own crazy adventure.
Yeah.
okay. Apocalypse Now, Dances with Wolves. And I'm pretty sure for Dances with Wolves, if you watch that, you need to budget like some time for that. I'm pretty sure that's like a 3 hour movie. If I'm-
Absolutely. You
so
do.
And Apocalypse Now too. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty long.
So budget some time if you're taking those recommendations. My guests today were Marina and Biliana Grozdanova. Their film Eastern Western will be shown at the Dallas International Film Festival, which starts next weekend. Marina, Biliana, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Matthew. Have a great day.
Thank you so much, Matthew.